Hello, everyone. How are you? I hope you're well. I am Tony Lee Peters, and I am very well. Thank you for asking. My cat, as usual, is hiding behind the camera, playing with wires. So let me just move her, otherwise she'll chomp her way through. There she goes. Okay, so anger management. I'd like to talk about managing your anger today. So in this video today, I'm going to share with you the secret or the key to successful anger management. I'm also going to be asking you a series of questions to help you or someone you know who could do with dealing with their anger in a less destructive way. Now, the questions I'm going to be asking form part of a workbook that I've produced called Managing Anger. And you can request your own copy of this workbook by typing the words angry or the word angry in the comments below, and I will send that to you via Messenger. Okay, so anger itself is a completely natural and healthy emotion. It's something that we all feel. But it's how we react to that emotion or how we respond to that emotion that really matters. So we can have a situation, maybe someone has said something to us or something has occurred and we react out of anger. We could then blow things out of all proportion and we could start to lose control. And that's when things can get messy. So the secret or the key to successful anger management, and this sounds quite obvious really, is to recognize the anger, but to recognize every kind of facet of the anger, to completely own the anger. So it's to recognize where we feel the anger, what our trigger points are, how it affects us and how it affects other people. And once we completely own our anger, we can then go on to start handling things a little less destructively. So anger, successful anger management is a skill, and like all skills, it does require patience, dedication, and work. Right, let's get on to the questions. So I'll just get my workbook up here. Okay, so question one. Where in the body or where in your body do you feel anger? So when you're in a situation where you're starting to feel anger, where do you feel this anger? Now, for me, I feel anger first in my stomach. I can then feel anger in my chest, and I also feel anger in my jaw. So this question is asking you, where do you initially feel the anger, but also what are the other bodily symptoms that anger can create in you? So for me, I can get a short, out of breath. I can feel a shortness of breath. My heart rate can increase. I can feel that my body is warm or getting warmer. I'm literally heating up. So question one, where in your body do you feel anger? Question two, what is the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about your anger triggers? So it's a bit of a weird question. I mean, you can break that down by asking, what are your anger triggers, first of all? So your anger triggers, my anger triggers would be if I feel that someone is doing something that does me wrong, or if I see some kind of injustice to other people, that can create feelings of anger. But what is the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about your anger triggers? So what that's asking is asking you to look at your anger triggers as like a collective, as like a global thing. And what is the first thing that comes to mind when you think about that? So when I think about my triggers, especially if the triggers are to do with myself, if I feel that if someone's said something about me or done something against me, the first thing that comes to mind with that is a feeling of shame in a way, because I'm feeling, well, why do I feel so important that I need to react out of anger because someone's done wrong by me? Who am I? So it's asking not only what your anger triggers are, but how do you feel about those anger triggers and what comes to mind when thinking about those anger triggers? Question three, how do you typically react with anger? Myself in the past, before I worked on my own anger issues, I mean, I didn't have a classic issue with anger where I would, every situation I would completely explode. I was kind of like a slow burner. So, I mean, at one point, I quite prided myself in the fact that I didn't feel anger. I can actually remember having this conversation with people and saying, yeah, I never feel anger, but actually I did. And what I would tend to do I would bury the anger until things got too much, and then I would explode. So how I would typically react with anger would be to push it down, to bury it until it became too much of an issue, and then I would explode, and there would be the red mist, and not a pleasant experience, for not just for me, but for people around me. So question 3, how do you typically react with anger? Question 4, how does anger affect you personally? So anger, for me, it would affect me it could affect my relationships, not just with partners, but with work colleagues, with friends, with family. It can lead to, for me, it led to stages of isolation, of feeling quite lonely. So really think about all the different areas, all the different ways that anger has affected you personally, or still affects you personally now. And then question 5 is kind of leading off from that, is what impact does your anger have on those around you? So think about the other people that are getting caught up in your anger, but also the people that may not initially be caught up in the anger, but still have to deal with the fallout of the anger. So for example, when I was pushing things down, although I was pushing my anger down, I would become very withdrawn from people. I guess that may have been a self-preservation thing, because if someone had said something, that could trigger all of the anger to come out. And when the anger did come out, it would affect people. In my own experience, it affected people that they felt that they didn't feel comfortable around me, and they felt that they couldn't approach me because of my tendency to overreact and over emphasize my anger. So what impact does your anger have on those around you? Question 6. Can you give an example of when feeling anger would be a positive thing? Now, I'm not going to give you an answer for this one, because 99% of the clients that I ask this question to find this quite a challenge to get their head around, because for most of us, anger isn't a positive thing. Anger is destructive, anger is negative. But this question is asking you, can you give an example of when feeling anger would be a positive thing? So take your time on question 6. And question 7, this is the last question. If anger was an unstable floor, so you're standing on a floor of anger and you fall through that floor, what would be the emotion underneath that you would land on? Now, I'm not going to answer that question. Again, this is something for you to really dig deep and answer. But what it's asking is, what is the emotion that's actually underneath the anger? So question 7, if anger was an unstable floor that you could fall through, what would be the emotion underneath that you would land on? I hope you've found these questions helpful. By all means, type the word angry in the comments below, and I will send you the workbook because it's a lot better, a lot easier to work from an actual physical workbook. Thank you very much for watching. Whatever you do today, I hope you have a good one, and remember to please be kind to yourself today and every day. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.